Okay, this is number 8. Tan of angle A is equal to 24/7. They make a comment about where angle A should be so that you can spin into the correct quadrant. Okay, so for this picture, we're going to go between pi and 3 pi over 2. You're right in this quadrant. You can go ahead and put the values on the triangle that they've provided you with, the 24/7. Knowing the definition of tangent allows you to know that the y is 24 and the x is 7. Being that you're in quadrant 3 where x's are negative and y's are negative, place the negatives on those values. To use Pythagorean theorem to get the r value or the hypotenuse. So that's going to be, we'll just call this r. Hypotenuse squared is equal to leg squared plus leg squared. Okay, toss that into your calculator. Okay, this is 625. Square root of both sides, and you end up with 25. Now this triangle is complete, and go on to get the rest of the information in the instructions, which is cosine of angle B is equal to -3/5. And for this triangle, you're going to spin between pi over 2 and pi. Okay, so creating a picture now for this one. This is pi over 2. This is pi. You're in this quadrant because you want to be in between these two. Okay, the numbers they've given you are x over r because that's how cosine is defined. So the x is the -3. The r is the 5. And we're going to do Pythagorean theorem again. And in doing Pythagorean theorem, you would get a 4 here. Okay, now that all the values are on the triangle, now you can actually tackle the problem, which is to find the tan of A plus B. Okay, so formula for that is tan of A plus tan of B. Write the formula out first just to get you focused, and then you can start plugging numbers in. There's a 1 here, switch that sign, product of tan A times tan B. Okay, now start plugging in. Remember, tan is defined as y over x, so you'll be using that definition each time you do tan. So the tan of A, this is the triangle that represented the A angle. This is the triangle that represented the B angle. So tan of A, you're looking right here. That tan is 24/7. Negative over negative gives you a positive. So we'll use the positive version. Then tan of B is going to be, again, y over x. So 4 over -3. You can put the negative wherever you want. You can leave it at the bottom or float it to the top if you'd like. Then on the bottom, it is 1 minus tan of A times tan of B. Okay, there's tan of A again. This is tan of B. Put the negative wherever you want. Now start simplifying. A plus followed by a negative is just 1 minus. So you have 24 over 7 minus 4 thirds. And you can just put that in your calculator and change it back to a fraction on the top. And then on the bottom you have 1. I'm going to reserve writing the 1 right now. You have 24 times 4. Which is 96. And on the bottom you have a 21. Now as far as the sign goes, you have a minus that was right in front of the 24 over 7 times another negative, so that changes this to a positive. And then as far as writing the 1, since this denominator is 21, I'm going to write the 1 as 21 over 21. So the bottom becomes 21 plus 96, which is 117. Over 21. You can get your calculator to do this. Just do 24 divided by 7 minus 4 thirds. And then instead of pressing equal, press math, enter, enter. To get the calculator to put these two together, give it a common denominator, and reduce your answer. So 44 over 21. Last step, we're going to float the denominator to the top and flip it over so that you're multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, and this is the final answer. Okay, next one, number 9. Number 9, you have theta is equal to secant, inverse secant of 2. Now, recognizing the directions, the instructions are saying that they would like you to use your calculator to give the value in degrees. So set the mode to degrees, and then you can push in a value that you're going to recognize after you rewrite this. Okay, so first let's write this in its non-inverse form. We're going to write this as regular secant of theta is equal to 2. You get rid of the inverse, remember, by just switching this and this. Okay, after doing that, let's rename secant, because in order to press this in, you don't actually have a key, and that's why we are rewriting it. So this is the same thing as 1 over cosine is equal to 2. And you can shorten the steps using a form of cross multiplication, where you let this and this swap places. Okay, now let's go back to the inverse form one more time, but now we're in an inverse where we actually have a key that represents the inverse on the calculator. So it's inverse. You're always using inverse when you're looking for a theta or an angle, any type of angle. So it's inverse of 1/2 is equal to the angle that we're looking for. Again, if you want to go from a regular statement into the inverse statement, you just switch this and this. Okay, now you can press this into your calculator. Make sure again that you're in degrees. Okay, so you should have gotten for theta 60 degrees. And that's the final answer for that. That completes numbers 8 and 9.